Hi there. Today I wanted to talk about the dichotomy of leadership. This is Liz Neighbor. I am the operations manager and the facilitator of communication for the brick and mortar franchise in Bellingham, Washington. And the reason I was thinking of this topic is because we are going through the coronavirus incident right now, and the governor here in Washington has issued a stay-at-home order until May 4th, and that could be extended. So we've already been a month for sure. So as you know, we have a lawn care, maintenance, cleanups, small landscaping jobs, that sort of thing. And we have HOAs in our area, and they have presidents of those HOA. And as you know, there's a lot of different dynamic and demographic that goes on in all those places. Sometimes they're a retirement kind of area where the people don't have very much to do except to talk to each other and create drama. And so we had an incident where only in one HOA, so we are considered essential services for maintenance, not construction work, so building walls, bringing in large equipment, that type of thing, but mowing is fine. Well, there are some that feel that we should not. And so I got some angry correspondence, and so I had wanted to facilitate peace and kindness, and so I didn't route the guys to this specific HOA one day, and then I go right to the top. I'm not gonna fool around and be one of those creating drama and be a part of drama. So I called the president himself, and he was completely angry and irate and going off on me. And the reason I knew he was upset with us is because we have customers there, of course, and they want their property serviced, and he's threatening them, and he's their neighbor, and just very angry. They can't enforce the governor's order, but they would prefer that everyone honor it, which is completely understandable. And we've put many precautions in place. We have the sanitizer in the office. We make sure there's no more than 2 or 3 people in the office at a time. The trucks are sanitized every morning before the crew leaves. And we have video meetings for our team instead of all of us together. So many precautions we've put in place. We're doing drive-by estimates to keep our customers safe, so not meeting in person. But I want to pause here to talk about, if you're in the military and the general says, okay, this is the plan and this is how we're going to execute this mission, and everybody's saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, and just blindly following and just taking everything in that he says. Real good leaders, they don't like yes men. You might have one person say, excuse me, sir, I've been scouting the area, and if we go in this direction, we're gonna get flanked from over here, and our unit's gonna have a lot of trouble. A good leader would be, okay, tell me more, let's talk about that, and we may change the mission, the whole layout and the plan of what we're gonna do, how we're gonna execute it. That is a good leader, and that's called the dichotomy of leadership. You don't want a dictatorship. You want leadership where people communicate and then they come to the leader, and a good leader will consider his people. So I have all these angry citizens. The president of the HOA has, told the people they can revoke AUGUSTA's license, and it's gonna cost $25,000, and we'll lose our right to do business. And so this elderly lady is calling me, Liz, you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna get arrested. So don't come to my house anymore. Like, she was trying to say that we were very essential because obviously we never even talk in person. The guys are there and service their property and leave. So she was so happy we were still coming till the president had a conversation with her about how terrible it was. So when I checked in with the president himself, and he was going off on me, very angry, this is not a laughing matter and people are dying, and I don't want a single person here to get sick. And did the governor give you a letter? Did the governor personally tell you? Well, we had written to the governor right away when this all began, and they had sent us back a letter. We're not gonna, this is kind of what we want you to do, these are the guidelines, but we're not gonna tell you what to do, and we're not gonna enforce it. And so we didn't do the big projects, but we just went back to essential services like mowing. So we have some specific clients. Out of respect, I pulled out another day because they were being extra precious there and not wanting us to service the property. Well, he was saying a lot of threatening things to me and very angry, and I understand completely where he's coming from because he has the pressure of all the people in all the residents there who mostly want their property serviced. So when I get down to the bottom of it, I really find out that his own lawn care person has sent him a letter and said, we're gonna honor what the governor says. We won't be back till May 4th. What if this goes on for 3 months and his grass is 1.5 to 2 feet tall? I have a feeling the tune is gonna change. On the same day, he confronted my crew in the neighborhood there and was, telling them they shouldn't be there and all this. The very same day, my guys got a picture of his area being mowed and the HOA main people's area being mowed. And I had told him too, you're being serviced there too. And he was very angry. So his personal guy, though, that does his home, had said he wouldn't be back. So again, we have a customer who actually has cancer who's living in Arizona right now, and we have other customers who are snowbirds and they're gone for the whole winter and then they come back in the summer. So while they're gone, we are their eyes on the property. We are the ones watching out for them, all their house, doing the checks, doing the mowing, doing the maintenance. And so those people have to be serviced, and we're right by the Canadian border, and some of our customers are across the border and they can't get back right now, so they need to be serviced. So the gentleman that has cancer, he had written them, I need Augusta to come there. I can't come to my house. I can't do the work, and I need their help. So they had answered back to him in an email, they have to call the Corona hotline. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So he had told me that. So I called the hotline. I explained to them the situation. We have elderly people. We have people stuck across the border. The elderly people can't service their own properties. We have one gentleman that's sick. I explained the whole situation, and they said, you sound pretty essential to us. Yes, I would say in this situation, you're definitely essential. And so I kindly sent them a letter and just said, I respect where you're coming from, and I sincerely, understand the difficult position you're in, but we will be coming to service those clients. Aside from that, let me say, the dichotomy of leadership. So good leaders don't want you to just blindly follow. They want you to use your brain and use your common sense. Think about this. My guys aren't even 40, they're more than 40 feet from the customers. They're never in human contact. They go there, they edge, they mow, they blow everything off, and they leave. If you use common sense, why would I want to pull my guys off that job when they have the instinct in them to hunt and kill and provide for their families, and have them be at home watching Netflix on their couch when they could be out in this awesome weather servicing people? And another thing it is for the customer, it is a symbol of courage and normacy for elderly people to be able to see them out the window, wave at them. It's helpful to them. That part is essential for their mental health. So I called the hotline, got the permission, and I'm thinking, if the governor was here with me right now on this lawn with this customer, on the phone with this customer with cancer, he would say, yeah, you need to service their property. You need to check up on them. You check up on everything. They can't get home. And so it's a different thing if you're young and you can mow your own lawn. Yeah, we could stop your service for a little while. And but if this is extended, even the gentleman, the president, who was very upset with me, I have a feeling in the next little bit they'll be softening up because they will need their lawn mowed, and they're going to be coaxing their own guy to come back because even now it's going to be pretty high. So I have instructed the crew. They have a letter with them saying that we had called the hotline. It also has the email of the HOA saying that we could, that they couldn't give us permission, they couldn't enforce anything, but we could call the hotline, which we did and got permission. So the dichotomy of leadership is that The leader themselves that placed the order does not want you to blindly follow them. They want you to use common sense. So the other day I had an angry customer, somebody, they just said their first name, call, was going off on my staff. And so I said, oh, let me give him a call back. So I called the gentleman and I said, you know, hey, I heard you called and you might have a few questions. Can I help you out? And he just went off like, you are not essential services. I have a small business too. We have a construction company and my guys have been out of work for 4 weeks and they're hungry and like just angry, right? My employees were hearing anger. What I was hearing was a business owner who cared about his employees and was panicking. And I told him, I said, this is Thursday. Didn't you know that on Monday they loosened up the restrictions for some of the construction sites and some of the projects that are going on? He's like, no. And so he wouldn't give me the name of his business or anything. He's like, what does that matter? I said, well, you seem pretty intent on calling and reporting Augusta, because he had just called. He said he never said our name. But he again, I told him, I said, you are just blindly listening to other people. You're not watching daily. I told him all the precautions we had for our employees. And I said, I 100% understand. You care about your people. And I said, we are here to support you. And this is what Augusta is all about. So he kind of simmered down and he wouldn't tell me his business or anything. Of course, in 20 seconds, I had Googled him, found his email, sent him links that the governor had set up that day, loosening up some of the restrictions, letting him know there might be a couple things that his workers could finish up, projects they were on. I told him, you know, just what we've been doing. Connect with your customers, do drive-by estimates, go through your whole database, call your people, make sure they're okay, talk about work you can do up ahead. Don't just roll over and die, which is what so many people have done. Just look at stuff from a different angle. There's always ways to connect with your customers and to think forward. If you just cower down in a hole, in your foxhole, and you don't think things through and take some action, you'll be like this gentleman. He was just paralyzed with fear that he couldn't do anything. And I said, don't you know there's funding for business owners and people that keep their employees on and how they can pay them? And he's like, no, the money's all dried up. And I'm like, you need to find out these things. You know, there's hope here. So I emailed him after, a lot of links and a lot of really kind things. And he had emailed me back. He completely changed his tune by the end and was thanking me. And he told me he had been in business for 15 years. He emailed me later in the day and had never had anybody here be that kind to him. So in these bad times, you even start having good relationships form that you wouldn't have had before. It's the same with angry customers, angry business owners, people that consider themselves your competitor. There is no competition. Like, everybody's good at their thing. Another thing that we had the other day was, let's facilitate each other, helping each other. This gentleman's in construction. I told him we don't even do the same thing, but we're here to help you. We're here to do whatever we can to support you. We had another company, I had a gentleman come in and ask for a paper copy application, and we don't have anything on paper. We do everything digitally. And I said, well, you can go online and you can fill out an application. When I get the application, then I'll call you for an interview. Well, I knew this individual was high quality. He had worked at a golf course right close by, very high-end place, but it's right across the border, and the Canadians can't come down right now. Their business, of course, has gone way down, and even when they start up, he said it'll probably just be the main few people and the owner. So he was pretty sure that he was just laid off. And so I said, you know what, there's another business that I think might be a good place for you. And I gave him the information, and then I sent them a voice note on my phone, and they emailed me back, and we just communicated back and forth. And I made sure that they knew what he looked like, kind of what he was looking for. He was a good family guy, and I thought he'd be a great employee for them. We need people to be able to have computers, have phones, and be, you know, kind of on top of it digitally. And so he probably wouldn't have been a good fit with us, but he might have been with them. So there's things we all do differently, and there's no reason we can't collaborate. And back to the dichotomy of leadership, let's not be afraid and just cower down and roll over and die and think that everything in our world is coming to an end. This is a blip in history. This is when, if you look back in history, terrible times or difficult times, or when the people that could think outside the box and the great leaders were not born, they were already in action, but they just kept on steady, thought from a new angle, figured things out together as a team, and they help society turn corners and implement new things. There's going to be so much good that comes out of all this. There's so much suffering and pain, but we're going to get through this. And it's very important in a leadership role that you always listen to the people around you and think where the leader is coming from when they make laws and rules and regulations. These aren't laws, and they're not rules. They are guidelines to keep people safe. So let's keep our people safe, and let's give them the essential services that give them hope and courage to make it through this difficult time. And the gentleman of the HOA, I said, I hope when this is all over, you and I can have a nice conversation about something else. And he was so upset. He goes, oh yeah, I'm very angry right now, and I probably sound very angry, and maybe someday we can talk and I won't be mad. And I'm looking forward to that time. And I wanted to facilitate peace throughout and good communication, which is my goal, that we'll be welcome in that community after. And I just have the guys respectfully just keep working, carry on. If there's any issues, they have them call me. But when it's all over, I want them to see that Augusta was just steady, taking care of our people, quietly moving on, under the radar, not causing any ruckus or drama, just taking care of the people in our community. And that's what we're all about. And a franchisee would be part of this family, and the same thing. Have a wonderful day.